G'day, Arthur here from AC's Make and Repair. Well, this little beauty here is going to get a handle today. Watch me as I clean it up and put a new handle in it. It's a GDR. It's probably a vintage German axe head. It's only 1.5 pound, probably only really a tomahawk head or a hatchet head really. It's only small, as you can see compared to my hand. It's only small, and I'm going to make a new handle for this today. So I've chosen to make my handle out of a bit of gum. This is an old bit of hardwood I had. So I just dressed one side on the jointer and it came up really nice. A nice piece of gum. And the grain orientation is good, so that's great. For what we need anyhow, for just being a little hatchet type of axe. And so I'm going to make a handle similar to this one. Similar shape to this one. A little bit longer maybe because the head's a bit bigger. This head's a bit bigger. So I'm going to make the handle a little bit longer than this one, but similar shape. This is an old case hatchet. So yeah, I'm going to get in and do that now. I've dressed this side, so I'm going to thickness it down to size now, and we'll show you that in a second. I chose to copy the similar pattern off this handle here. You can make the pattern the way you like it yourself. It just made it easier for me to trace it on there like this. And as it was, I just altered it a little bit as I went before I cut it out too. So we're just going to go through now and sand the internal corners and a little bit on the externals here too. I've left this block on here, so I leave that on generally till last, so when I fit the handle I don't split any of this off. So I'm going to go through and sand this now. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to put that head over that block of wood, like that. Then I'm going to get a pencil and draw down in there. So I'll just go right over the edge here. And I'm going to draw down in there the shape of that eye. That's the shape of the, I hope you can see that. Yeah, there you go. That's the shape of that eye. Now what I'll do is I'll find a router bit that suits the shape of that eye. That's a little bit undersized, so I'll find a router bit that is pretty well that profile there. So what I've done is I've got all the router bits out that are round over bits. And that round over bit there, straight up, I've got one that looks the right profile, straight up, the right radius, everything for that curve there. Now, some of you guys out there and girls out there mightn't have seen this router storage system I've done. It's in a few videos back, about a month ago. So if you go back through my videos, you'll see a router storage solution that I've done. The video is quite good. There's another router bit there that's quite good too for that profile. So that's quite good. Yeah, very good actually. Very good. So we use that router bit there to get that round profile there. The rest of this profile here we have to do by hand, shape it by hand. So what I've done is I've made a little template, the size of the eye of my head, marked some centre lines on either end, mark the centre line in the top of my handle here, and put that on there, centralise it nice and parallel with the handle, mark that eye. Now I'll go through and I'll run the router over that and make that eye shape like that on the end of the handle. Okay, I've run the router over that. Just on the router table, what I've done is I've put a router bit in and I've run that up against the fence and, sorry, I was out of scene there, and I've run that round over there. But it's not exactly right. I don't know if you can see that. I'll try to zoom in. It's not exactly right, the profile. So what I'm going to do is put it in my vise, and I'm going to shape these pieces down here. So I'll put a centre line there. I'm going to shape these side pieces down. While I'm at it, I'm going to shape those a little bit more. I'll bang it into the head, get a bit of a witness mark there off the shape of the eye of the head, and then we'll go from there. If you're unsure what I meant about this round over from the router bit, I've done a video, I'll try to leave the link in the description. It's on axe handle making, and I describe how to do this a bit better in that video. So I'm going to put this in the vise now, and we'll shape that down a bit. Alright, so I'm going to take the worst of it off and the bulk of it off with the spoke shave, then I'll rasp it back a little bit and we'll go from there. This is an old double shave. It's got a concave as well as a straight base bit. I've loved it for years. It's a number 60. I'd say it'd be a Stanley, or it's a Stanley, there you go. Stanley Rule Level Co. number 60. It's a very good little spoke shave for this sort of thing. Okay, so what I'm going to do is centralise that the handle over the eye, because it's not exactly right 100% yet. And I'm going to bang it into the hole a little bit just to get a mark so I know what to follow. Hopefully that's given me, yes, it has a slight mark there and a slight mark there. I'll put it back in the vise and shape it back down to that now. So I've got more material to take off. There's still quite a witness there to say I've got to do a lot more. So we're making progress. Not quite halfway, but we're getting there. So all I'll do is keep shaving it until I get it exactly right. I'll probably cut the slot soon because that'll make it easier to go on too, and give us an idea then. I'll probably do that straight away actually. I'll knock this off and do that straight away. Okay, I've cut the groove and just rasped a fraction more, and the head's gone on pretty good, pretty good. And the gap, there's a slight gap there, but once we put a wedge in, that'll take up. The eye of the axe head is a little bit larger lengthwise. A lot of heads, it varies today, I've found. Many years ago I'd find they were always the same on the top and the bottom, but I've been finding a few lately that are longer on the top. You might have different things in your country, but so I'll belt that on a bit more, get it nice and tight on there and put a mark, get an idea how deep I need to do my wedge groove, and then I'll go and finish the handle. Okay, so what I'm going to do now said, I've got the head to a point where it's nearly fitted, is I'm going to do a round over bit down either side to round the sides of the handle. You can do that by hand. Incidentally, I didn't tell you, when I was cutting this out, you can cut that out with a jigsaw or even by hand if you want it with a coping saw or a fret saw. That's no problem at all. We'll trim this lump off a bit here, make it a bit blended in a bit better. I'll leave this on it for the last bit to do. Once I've got the handle fitted, then I'll route that part and run the round over a bit over that. I leave that on so I don't split that in when I'm driving the handle, and when I drive it in, hammer this end while it's floating, and it pulls the head on. I am going to put a cross wedge in this. I don't usually do that, but there's a little bit of a gap at the top here lengthwise, so I'm going to put a cross wedge in that and make that drive up to there nice and neatly too. So what I'm going to do is take the head off now. I'll run the round over a bit over that and make it nice and neat. Okay, done the round over. The only piece we'll have to cut is this piece in a minute. So I'll fit the handle now, and I'll give that a bit of a sand back too. Get that nice and smooth. I'll probably put some linseed oil or something on that to finish it. Cut that when I've done the handle. Okay, so I'm going to fit the handle. Driving it on. There we go, nice and driven on. Now what I'll do now is I'll fit the wedge. I'll just double check I'm driven on. There we go. I'll fit the wedge now. I'm going to put a bit of glue down there, that wedge hole. A bit of Tide Bind 3 I'm using here. It's got a bit of flex in it, I know. People will be saying I should have used original or something else or none at all. For years I didn't use any at all. I'll put some on the outside of the wedge too. But this is a retainer. I'm going to put this on. I'm going to place it down on the floor. Just get a block of wood now. That's nice and tight in there now. What I'll do is I'll trim that off now, and I'll drive the sideways wedge in while it's still wet. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of glue down that too to drive that sideways wedge. Right, that worked a treat. I'll give that a bit of a wipe over and go and sand that off. Alright, what I've got to do now is give it a good sand because there's a couple of router marks there that need to go. Cut this off, run the router over that end of the handle. I'll do that straight away. I'll cut that, sand that, and then round over that. Then I'll give it a good sand off, get rid of any burrs and lips. There's a couple there that I didn't expect. And clean it right up, and then we can finish it. There we go. Needs a bit of finish put on it, a bit of linseed oil I'm going to use. Might give that head a bit of a buff too. I did take the opportunity before to sharpen the edge a bit. I'll just give that a little bit of a run over the buff to see how it comes up. Might bring it up nice and shiny. Rightio, thanks for joining me on this video where I made the little handle for this axe head. It was a pleasure to have you along. Catch you on the next one. Bye for now.